Well, g'day everyone. This is the first video I've put up on this channel. It's actually a review of the Strymon new Cloudburst that's come out. I was lucky enough to get one the other day. It is purchased with my own money. So it's not a paid or promotional video that I'm using here. It's completely paid for by myself. So whatever I'm saying is my truthful opinion, as it would be if I was given the product for nothing. I've called myself the ordinary guitarist because, look, I've just come back to music after probably 20 years off. And I'm just absolutely adoring it, and I wanted to talk about my journey of coming back into music. So it's going to be interesting to watch my growth and things like that. I'd love you to join me, so hopefully you'll subscribe and follow me along in this journey as well. And particularly as an older guy, it's going to be great to see what I can do as well in the future. So what we'll do first is I'm going to take you through the unit itself, and I'm going to show you things like how to set up the foot pedals to this, how you alter the settings, and I'll do a little playing demo. Look, I'm not going to do these massive lead introductions that you see all over YouTube. That's not me, and besides, I'm just not good enough. That's why I've called myself the ordinary guitarist. So let's start by having a look at the unit. Now, the rear panel of this is, well, very simple actually. You just have this switch up the top. If you look over here and you put the switch onto the left-hand side, it's mono in, mono out. If you have it in the middle, it's mono in and then stereo out. You have to use a TRS cable though. And if you switch it right over to the right-hand side, it's stereo in and stereo out as well. You can see you've got your in here, which is a high impedance. It's got a Class A TRS stereo preamp there as well. If you look at the out here too, it's a low impedance TRS stereo output there as well. This is your expression pedal or your MIDI interface. USB here too can be used for updates and also some MIDI things as well. You do have a 9-volt pin here. It's center negative, but you don't get that with the unit itself, so you will have to purchase that separately. Now just remember, if you do want to go stereo, you will have to use a TRS jack. If you use your normal guitar jack, which is TS, you'll just get mono. The way I'm using this is I've got a TRS cable connected into my unit. I'm using a Audio Fuse Studio, and I am using the double going into that. So I'm taking up 2 jacks on my Audio Fuse. That way I can run stereo that I've been doing. And this, I've also got it in the middle here too, so it's mono to stereo. Now your expression pedal that you can connect through here as well is also a MIDI interface. Okay, so what I thought we'd do is we'd start with a dry just signal that's straight into Studio One. So this is the clean signal. I'm just using my Strat here, and I've got it on the bridge pickup. So that's a bass point that we can work from. Now I'm going to turn the unit on. Now at this stage you won't hear any reverberation at all, because we haven't got any delay or anything put on this. So what I thought I'd take you through is just what the controls do. Now I'm going to leave the mix up halfway, because otherwise you're not going to hear it at all. If we turn this right down, it'll just be a complete dry signal. If I bring it up anywhere else, it's going to start to introduce the wet signal through it. The mix actually controls the reverb mix from full dry at minimum to full wet at maximum. A 50-50 mix occurs at approximately 3 o'clock. So if you wanted it to be a 50-50 mix, it's going to be around about here. Now, this decay knob controls the decay time over the reverberated signal. So the lower signals reduce the size of the reverberated space. So in other words, at the moment, if I play, there'll be nothing there. But as we start to bring this up, you'll start to hear the reverberated signal. Now obviously if I turn this way up, it'll really start to come through. So that's that. Whoop. If you move it while it's on, it actually makes some interesting noises. Now the pre-delay sets the amount of time before the reverberated signal appears. They just also say with this that if you do put it up fairly high, then you have to turn the mix settings down. So I'll show you what that actually does. At the moment, it's off. So if I go just one note, if I bring this up to 50%, the 12 o'clock position, if we go full, You can hear the delay that's there now. So the tone itself adjusts the content of the reverb. So lower settings down here will give you a darker tone. So we'll play this down here somewhere. If we go up to the middle, it should start to become warmer. And as we go full, it will be brighter. I don't know how much that's going to come through with the recording, but I'm just going to leave everything at 12 o'clock at this stage. Now with the modulation, it's off on this setting right down here. If you drag it right up, it just increases the modulation as we go through. I'll just sort of demo that. So this is off. Now if we bring this up, I'll put it on full. Okay, so let's go through the ensemble and I'll take you through what this does. Basically there's off, so there's no ensemble effect at all. The middle position is called MP, middle position, and it sort of has this mezzo piano, meaning medium soft. They all sound sort of, to me, like a string section is playing with you. It's beautiful. And there's fort, which is the right position, or forte. It's strong or loud, maximum amount of ensemble effect, creating a lush soundscape. And that's just by switching over here. To the left is off, the middle is on, and then forte is to the right that you get there as well. So that's with it off. Now this is putting it into the medium. And then this will be with it at its maximum. I mean, the sound that you get actually is really quite beautiful. I love the sound of this. I have the Big Sky. The cloud algorithm in this is actually nicer. I sort of tested it before. I might actually put both together and give you a test of how they both work together, just to see if you can sort of hear the difference. That'll be an interesting test for me too, just to put them side by side as well. So that's it. The controls are very, very simple. Now there are some other settings with the foot switch that I'll take you through shortly, and you can have a look at how that works as well. But what I thought I'd do is I'll just sort of give you a quick demo now of how this works. I'll record just a backing track, and then I'll put a little bit of lead over the top of it. Now your spillover mode is on by default. It sort of gives you a small amount of spill, but you can change that if you want to a much longer one, and you just basically hold the foot switch down and then you turn your mod here. And there's two modes that you can get, which is amber and purple. Amber is your default, which is minimum, and purple is your maximum spillover. Okay, so let me show you how the Strymon foot pedal works. It is connected with a TRS cable in. You get the cable with this, actually, which is nice. Now, the way that you set this, there's three modes, or there's a few modes, actually, you can set from this. All you do is you've got to do this when you power it up. So you've got to use your mix control for these settings, and all you'll do is you'll power it up. Now, if you hold the foot switch down and then attach the power cable in, you'll notice that it flashes. Now, the way this works is if you turn this control, the mix control, down to where it goes to green, green will mean that it's on its expression mode, so that's how you'd use it with your expression pedal. If you go over to the amber, that means it's a favorite, so you can set favorites and things like that. If you're on red, that's freeze mode. And if you go to purple here, that means that it's on the infinite mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off, first of all, with the freeze mode, and I'll show you the difference between that and the infinite mode. You just take that off. What you do with this is it will hold the note, but as soon as it holds the note, the rest of it will be just a dry mix, so it will be dry over it, so it won't be having the same delay and echo effects that you get through the pedal itself. You'll only get that with the part that's frozen. I'll demo that just by saying, if I go here, so as long as I hold that on, it's continuing that note. Now if I play other notes, they're just basically dry, so there's no echo or reverb in the note itself. So that's what free mode is. And it does decay off at the end, which is quite nice. So let me show you also what the next one does, which is the infinite mode, because the infinite mode will keep the original freeze that you do, but it will also let you play with the effects over it. So I've got to take it out again and restart it. If I plug this in again, hold this down, and this time I'm going to go to purple, so it's now on the infinite mode. You'll notice too it increases in volume, but if you take off pressure off the foot pedal, it actually lowers the volume, so it's interesting, it almost acts like a volume pedal. If I bring it back down again, it will keep going. Build again, and bringing it off will lower the volume. I've found that if you just keep it down, it will just gain volume, it'll just keep getting louder and louder and louder. If you take it off again, it just sort of blends out. Now there are also 3 signals that you can bring through this. There's a default mode, which is a dry signal, and it allows the mix knob to dial out the dry signal, in other words. The analog mode keeps the dry signal in analog. Now there's also a kill dry mode here as well, which mutes the analog dry path and allows the mix knob to strictly control the wet effect output level. And they're saying that you use this if you're connecting through an amp's effects loop, or also if you're going into a mixer. Now there's a whole section talking about MIDI as well. I'll leave the link down below where you can get this document from, so you can have a look at how it's all set up. This sort of just shows how it's all done, and it breaks down everything that you need there as well, so it's very, very easy to set up. So there's a whole series of things that you can do with setting this up, which you'd have to read the manual to go through all of that, but it's really interesting. So what do I think about it? I love it. I mean, I really do think it's great. For the size that this is, it's tiny compared to the other Strymon pedals that are out there, so I love that aspect of it. I also love the quality of the effects that it gives you. I think it's actually beautiful. Yes, look, I've showed you sort of extreme examples today, but you don't need to have it on that much. You can balance it to whatever you'd like. So I think it's terrific. Look, if you'd like to ask any questions, leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.